My grandmother was a seamstress, and my parents would drop me off on the weekends. So I would sit underneath the sewing machine while she was working and fall asleep while I was listening to her sew. I'd take all the scraps and make things. And I didn't know or realize what I was learning and all the things that would come in the future. When I was pregnant with my third child, I had read where it was better to bring home a doll for your children so they could each have a baby. So I stayed up all night and I came up with 3 bears. They were made with buttons for joints. I used my husband's coat, which his mom wasn't too happy about. She asked me, "Where did that go?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Hide the bears, everybody. Hide the bears." So once I made them and everybody saw them, they kept asking for more bears. Things just started snowballing, one thing after another. I hate to say how many I made. It's a family affair. So together we've made over 30,000 handmade teddy bears. The development into what we have now today, you come to the center, you go in again and come out to the center. I was teaching teddy bear classes in my home. And magically you have an area for your nose. The women would come over in the evening for their night out. And then from there you can put the mouth in. Well, one day out of the clear blue, this lady showed up with a teddy bear, and she told me her son had been in the war, was on his way home, and he was killed in an automobile accident. And that this was the only thing that she had left of him. And she asked me if I could repair it for her. It was just like, this is what you're gonna do. I just started repairing stuffed animals. The ability to share the gifts that God gave me is awesome. And one day, 40 boxes showed up with stuffed animals to be repaired. And here, somebody had written about me, and it was on the Associated Press. Let's see what we got here. So we're sitting with all these bears on the front porch, and I'm like, what in the world am I gonna do? The hospital was born. So now we really have a true teddy bear hospital for everybody to come or ship their bears to get fixed. You have to figure out who's doing it, for what purpose, and what they need. I have stacks and stacks of letters. I'm asking you to fix my Buffalo Thunder. He's 40 years old and he sleeps with me every night. I get calls from him just like, how's he doing? You know, is he okay? I was worried that he might got lost in the mail. She was given to my granddaughter by her mother when she was a baby, and her mother died a year later. Penny traveled with her wherever she goes and is very special linked to her mom. When I was 3 years old, I got very ill. And when I was well, my mother took me to a toy shop and said I could get whatever I wanted. On that shelf was a big purple teddy bear. I remember walking through the parking lot carrying him. He has been my best friend and my confidant. I've loved him so much, I've loved the fur right off of him. They always say, I know you won't understand. But I'm like, I'm about the only person in the world that does understand. So I'm working here on Snoopy. He came in and the dog sort of visited him, and so here's holes where the dog has chewed into it and he ripped the head off by shaking it. I think Snoopy's the #1 repairs I do. A lot of retrievers. I get Garfield and Pokemon. They say never stare at a wild animal right in his eyes. Well, the dog thinks the bears are looking at them, so they go right for their face. Sometimes it's disfigured so badly I can't make it look exactly the same or as centered as they were before. It's a good lesson to learn in life, though, too, that sometimes things change in life and we just have to have a new normal. Sometimes they go home and they come back in a week. The dog decided that wants to re-eat it. I love those dogs. I still get an occasional call, can you tell me how much my bear's worth? And I'm like, well, what's it worth to you? That's how much it's worth. A bear doesn't have a money value. A bear has a heart value.
Oh, these are toys from when I was a kid.
The condition of them is really, really good for the age he is. You wouldn't want to do anything, you don't want to keep them in plastic or in a plastic bag or in this direct sunlight, because all that is bothersome to him. Now, things I would do to him is I'd try to get this nose to be a little more firmer, because when it bends like that, then it can
Oh,
crack.
yeah, well, that's all the years of it being packed away and it got mashed.
And these are the typical eyes from that time frame too, the little wiggly eyes. They still have them, but as they got older and different companies made them, they used plastic hard eyes and glass eyes too. I've noticed here, there's a little spring in the back. This must have been a squeaker at one time. See how it goes in?
See, now you found something I didn't even remember.
This ball's awesome.
We have moved all over the place, and these toys have gone with us everywhere we go, and they're carefully put in the closet. Before we unpack anything else, we make sure that they have a nice place to be.
The ball, I think, I was probably a year old. That's
Let's
at
see if we can get a
Christmas.
picture of it.
At Christmas time. That was taken just before Pearl Harbor.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that'd been 1941.
This could be cleaned nicely. But other than that, if you don't even need that done, because they're just got this way because you loved them.
Yeah.
We were so glad to hear about you and know that there was somewhere we could bring them.
But it's not something that just happens all the time. But when I'm working on the stuffed animals, all of a sudden it'll just catch me off guard and I'll be like, whoa. I can actually feel and smell and sense that person. Their essence is channeled through that stuffed animal. This poor thing, I really can't remake into what it was. But what I want to try to do, I looked very diligently on the internet and I found a new one. Now you can see the similarities, but you can see how different it is. But it is the same size, it was that color, and this is just loved. I think this little boy's about 5. So I don't want to make him look new, because he's not used to the new. He's used to him. So what I'm going to do is take the head off, the new head off. The most important thing, though, I think for a child is to recognize and keep intact the head. So here we go. We'll put a ribbon around his neck too, which will hopefully make the difference in the new and the old a little less abrupt. Well, we're gonna have one happy little boy. He's gonna be dancing. My whole life has been centered around this. In the beginning, I would sometimes wonder, how did they get this emotion about a stuffed animal? It is such an important part of many people's lives. Because basically, that's what this is. These bears, people love them, and not just bears, they're dogs or they're penguins. It's something that they can throw against the wall if they're angry and hug if they're not, and tell it all their secrets, and it's full of unconditional love.